We continue with the activities of the second Cuba Entrepreneurial Forum. We welcome the Minister of Tourism, Juan Carlos Garcia Granda, and the rest of the panel members that will be with us, presenting the tourist panel in Cuba and business opportunities. Good morning. Thanks for being along with us today in this panel of business opportunities for foreign investment in the sector of tourism in Cuba. I have invited this morning to be with me in this panel successful businessman with a wide experience in Cuba, Francisco Camps, director of Sol Melia Hotels in Cuba, who has been working with us over 31 years. Mateo Candete, director of Iberostar in Cuba, also 24 years with us. Javier Fernandez, director of Rock Hotels, who has been working for different companies in Cuba with a wide experience of 24 years. And our colleague, Mr. Jose Daniel Alonso, who is the director, development and business director of Mintur, over 5 years there with a wide experience in our sector. Also, has been working in all these different investment stages for more than 24 years. So we would like to begin explaining to you that the growth dynamic of the sector of tourism occupies in Cuba the second place, with a growth rate, an annual growth rate in the past 5 years of over 5%. Cuba is an island with a surface of 184,000 square kilometers. The longest part of it has 1,250 kilometers only, and it has 5,746 kilometers of coast. Furthermore, it has over 4,000 islands and keys. For this, we already have built an infrastructure. In those 110,000 square kilometers, Cuba has 30 airports. Of them, 10 are international airports. This is the main access door for tourism in Cuba. And as I explained, all the coast already has 10 international marinas and 3 cruise terminals. So we have foreseen, and we will show you today, the growth of all this access to Cuba. We already have an infrastructure that is quite attractive and can ensure the development of investments in Cuba. I would like to present to you the performance of the rooms and the arrival of visitors in 1990. In Cuba, we bet for the development of international tourism. With the disappearance of commercial partners in the country, when the socialist camp was dissolved or disappeared, we began to develop tourism. In 30 years, out of 18,500 rooms which we had in the year 1990, all those rooms were dedicated to the tourist development of internal market. We have reached to the end of the year 2021 with 7,372 rooms and around 25,000 rooms in the private sector. So during these 30 years, the growth rate in rooms has been 4.9%. And the rate of visitors has grown in 9.1%, with the main growth recorded, as you can see in the chart, in the year 2018, which we had in Cuba, 4.7 million visitors. It was a very good year, but the pandemic came and really international tourism contracted, and we that depend on that were affected. The room structure by categories in Cuba makes 71% of the rooms is among categories 5 and 4 stars. As you can see in the chart, 42% are 5 stars. We have other modalities also of investments. I would like to explain to you that the sector of tourism from the beginning of the 90s decided to develop foreign investments. So in these 30 years, from the initial conception of those first moments of the first time, it was conceived that this development, aside from confining, it should go along with a high component of foreign investment. That is why you are before a sector which has a long-standing experience in terms of international economic affairs in tourism. For instance, in joint ventures, we have 27 established for new development. 15 have implemented investments, and 13 are under foreign management agreements and marketing. 4,000 and some rooms. There are 4 companies of real estate. This morning, in several moments, we will stress the relevance for Cuba to develop real estate. Aside from the nearness to the tourist poles, it will supplement our products. It will raise the standard and will allow us access to markets of greater purchasing power. Another great experience which we have is in management and marketing contracts. We have 49,036 rooms in 97 contracts of management. This represents 64% of the total of lodging capacity available in Cuba in this modality. 36 management from 6 countries, and we have some contracts in service management, which accompany us, well, many with international prestige. Sol Meliá, Iberostar, Rock. You can see all the logos of the different companies, and you can see their participation in 30 years. I will show you a video of the opening of tourism that took place November the 15th with the opening of the borders in Cuba. Despite the pandemic, we are optimistic. We are characterized by optimism. And these 2 years, we continue with our investment project, perhaps a bit slow because of the situation, but we can announce that we will put under exploitation in the year 2022, 4,000 new rooms. And we have planned up to 2026 to grow in 27,446 rooms at the rate that I show you in the chart. In Cuba, there is a national plan for social and economic development that harmonizes the participation of all the institutions in development up to the year 2030. As the objective, the goal for the year 2030, we are planning to reach with 95,000 rooms built under operation, hoping that around 6.3 million of visitors will arrive Cuba at that moment. According to the normal behavior and the estimates of these years, we're talking about over 37,800 tourists per day. Income should reach the figure of 188,000 millions of pesos. This is in Cuban pesos. At that moment, we will have hired over 150,000 workers. I now explain the real estate development linked to the golf camps. We have 4, El Salado, Carbonera, Bello Monte, and Punta Gorda. Those are the golf fields. And I would like to introduce to you a group of facilities that are under negotiation. Residential Marina Punta Gorda in Cienfuegos is a resort that occupies 4.77 hectares, and as the name indicates, the main objective is a marine for 320 docking slips, 350 rooms, and 480 residential units. The pictures that we will show you, you will be able to see the size of these projects. This is a mega project in Rancho Luna, Cienfuegos, which is located in Rancho Luna, Pasacaballo Resort in the south of Cuba that occupies an area of around 1,089 area. It has 5 golf camps, 18-hole golf courses, 14,466 residential units, including 3,576 villas. It's a mega project. So the investment is 2.66 million. These projects have conceived their development in stages, already started with the partners with whom we are under negotiation. Also, the Ancon Chorrera is quite successful, close to the Ancon Peninsula, with 385 hectares. Intends to build another golf course, a hotel with 360 rooms for golf, a luxury hotel with 600 rooms, an ecological hotel, alongside with what the world appreciates at present, and 4,300 residential units. The investment is 195 million. We have another mega project under negotiation with 1,600 hectares to build 3 golf courses, 2 hotels with 300 and some rooms, and 3,000 residential units. And as we had announced, we have the second marina here, which is already quite advanced as a project. Boca Camarioca, close to Varadero. Another project under negotiation, 359 hectares. Intends to enrich the tourist destination of the province of Matanzas, very close to Varadero, with 2 golf courses with 18 holes, a resort hotel with 40-room, 5-star hotels associated to aquatic sports, and 1,122 residential units. These units are villas and apartments. And the estimate of this investment is around 461.7 million. And I would show you 3 or 4 products of which we have the studies advanced. Those studies are well conceived, but they're not under negotiation yet. We are right now offering them in the product portfolio for the new investments. But they're well conceived, and I also use this opportunity to promote them. In Cienfuegos, we have Catagua, an area of 349, almost 350 hectares in Playa Ingles, south of Cienfuegos province, and we have studied the possibility to have 2 golf courses with 18 holes, a hotel with 200 and some rooms, and 1,070 residential units. The estimate cost is around $780 million. Sorry, $570 million is the investment cost. Loma Linda in Guardalavaca, Holguín. This location is between the tourist resorts of Guardalavaca, Estero Ciega, or Playa Esmeralda, close to Pesquero. As we have said, if we develop these tourist resorts, we will not only have new contributions, but we incorporate to the already existing one much more quality and diversity also. This resort in Guardalavaca, known as Loma Linda, it's 220 hectares. It has a golf course plan, 5-star hotels, because this is a luxury area. Remember the Rio de Oro Hotel, very well positioned internationally in Playa Pesquero, and other hotels in the area that have been working quite successful. And we plan 1,600 residential units. The estimate cost of this project is around $2 million. In Pinal del Rio, La Guira, 2 golf courses are planned to be built, a hotel with 200 rooms, and 1,000 residential units. In all the sites which we are showing, which are in the sites of Minsex and Mintur, you will be able to see that there is always a map pointing out the geographical location of those destinations. And there are pictures also and schemes of the area, plans of what we have requested. So I'm showing you products in the center, west, and eastern part of the country. Cuba is a destination that not all has been built. We have many strengths that have made what we have already invested, as I said before, has been recovered. And at present, we have good profitability rates. Which are those elements? Well, we must mention our cultural heritage sites, where for many years we have 9 sites declared World Cultural Heritage of Mankind, of which tourism benefits. To speak about Old Havana and all the fortress and all that, it's from 1982, the Declaration of the Cultural Heritage of Humanity. We're talking about products that are there before we began international tourism. They were already identified as such. We have the urban center of Cienfuegos, to mention just 2 of the new sites which we have. We talk about sustainability, commitment, and amicable relation between tourism and the environment. I'd like to mention the year since June the 12th, 1992, Fidel, in the speech that was delivered at Rio de Janeiro and the UN Conference on Environment and Development, he said, use all the necessary science for sustainable development with no pollution. That has allowed us to enjoy in Cuba today of 6 reserves of the biosphere that also prove the high commitment with the environment that our country has, since many of those, like the Sierra de Rosario, are declared reserves of the biosphere since 1985. And the Guanacabibes Peninsula obtained that condition in the year 1987. So what is a biosphere reserve? Those are areas of land and coastal ecosystems that promote solutions for the conservation, reconciliation, and biodiversity with a sustainable use. The origin of that reserve is of 1968 in the first UNESCO Summit of Biodiversity and Development. We also have 17 expressions in materials which are declared cultural sites of the nation. We have baseball, the cigar factories, the parrandas of Remedios, and the Cuban typical cuisine, all available for the enjoyment of our tourists and visitors. We have four expressions of cultural heritage. We have the tumba francesa, the Cuban rumba, the punto cubano, and the parrandas, and 14 national parks, a natural one. A national park has biological or landscape characteristics, and they intend to guarantee their protection, to guarantee the protection of it. With the right management, they can be used for the benefit of tourism. Natural parks concentrate their attention in conservation and maintenance of their biota through vegetation. I can mention Piñales in Pinal del Río, Ciénaga de Zapata in Matanzas, Jardines de la Reina in Ciego de Ávila, places where tourism participates in a sustainable manner with a certified management. Furthermore, we have 227 national monuments, some under exploitation, used by tourism. The Tropicana Cabaret, our national hotel of Cuba, and Varadero Golf Course. We have a construction known as the Sanadu Mansion, all, as I said, national monuments. We have other strengths as destinations that ensure the tourist development. I will mention strengths that you're familiar with, like the tranquility of the population. We have a control and a management of the COVID epidemic. Durán said today that 93.9% of the population has been totally vaccinated. And we have a strength also in our health system. Remember that since international tourism was created from the onset, we have also moved along with a medical office in each hotel. There has always been a doctor and a nurse. At present, in the face of the epidemic, it has been reinforced with an epidemiologist, and also they're there 24 hours for the screening and follow-up to workers and visitors that may show symptoms of the disease development. We cannot disregard the idiosyncrasy of our people, the solidarity, hospitality that makes us maybe not the main strength of the tourist operation in Cuba, but very few countries can show and can be proud of the people that is supporting us. Last but not least, the development of other economic actors, among them the small and middle-sized enterprise. And the tourist activity plays a key role. I already mentioned that in Cuba, before the pandemic, under operation and exploitation, they have incorporated gradually 25,000 private rooms, but there is a large volume of restaurants, which are middle and small enterprises, and new actors are emerging, willing to link to the supply logistics for tourism. That is why today we are in one of the best moments for the development of the tourist activity, where the quality should be the root of our development. I'll show you another video of how in Cuba today we built the quality, the standards, and technology.
me dice cuando quieras cambiar.
And this part of my presentation, to give the floor to the other colleagues that are with me this morning, I'd like to mention the sectorial policy of investment in tourism and mention some issues. We give priority to the modalities of joint enterprises and contracts, international contracts, among which there are marketing and management contracts. We insist we not only want management, but we also want to accompany us in the marketing of our hotels. Linked to this modality, we may develop other negotiating models which are used in the sector, like franchise contracts, trademarks of international prestige, and also rent contracts of tourist sites. These have been recently incorporated in our sectorial policy. We promote the development of the hotel activity through the construction or restoration of existing facilities or others that may meet these targets. The projects that may so require may include the development of their supplementary infrastructures. We promote real estate development related to tourism, as you have seen, golf courts, marinas, and the construction of thematic parks incorporating the use of high technology. These parks, I will also dedicate some room to that. Management and service will be evaluated with financing for gastronomy, rent, contract, and associations of marina. We work to increase the development of products of well-being, health, and life quality. We have worked in the past 2 years with the Ministry of Public Health through their marketing enterprise, and we're saying that Cuba is a strength in health, and why can we give this branch greater tourist employment? We have an inventory of possibilities, and I'm sure that if MINSAP is in this forum, they will present it as a business possibility. We cannot neglect projects of nature where we have included high standard camping. Our portfolio of opportunities, which are published in the websites of MINSEX, Ministry of Foreign Trade, and the Ministry of Tourism, have, you can see there are 106 projects at your disposition. 22 for new hotel development, 4 for theme parks, and it's a supplementary tourist activity. And we will also this will also enrich our destination. So we have mentioned other real estate projects, 5 association contracts with common funds, 65 hotel management and marketing, which are updated because once we finish a hotel, one of our companies finishes, even though it's with our own capital, a high % of that is placed at the willingness of that international association. And we are promoting the possibility of finding partners for 9 management and marketing contracts for recreation centers, marinas, etc. I will show you some of the projects that are included in that business portfolio. This is a hotel, Santa Lucia Camagüey, a 5-star hotel, 300 rooms. The $45 million is the investment estimate. In Banes Holguín, another hotel, 750 rooms, 5 stars, $112 million investment. In Guadalajara, Holguín, a 4-star hotel, 923 rooms, is a large hotel, so it's 138.4 million is an estimate of investment. Many of these hotels, or all, we have planned to have the share should be analyzed. We can evaluate a majority share. We defend that once we have capital. We request to be present, and in many cases, we maintain our shares, especially in those destinations that are already established resorts with an international name. Also in Guadalajara, Holguín, a small hotel, 150 rooms, 4 stars, 22.5 million investment. So as you can see, the portfolio has wide possibilities for all. Today, I brought you the Canimat Park, something that is really moving us, is feasible. We see a high recovery because it is located between the city of Matanzas and the Varadero resort. So Varadero destination has other real estate ingredients, and it is close to the capital of Cuba, of Havana. So it's a bright area for that natural park that uses the Canima River, one of the it will provide a development related to nature. So the lodging plan there is natural. One of the projects we were able to see that one of the villas was in the top of the trees with tracks that united them. I mean, so we're talking about products which are really like a dream in our country. So investment is quite cheap. So we're willing to share that investment. We have another hotel in Camagüey in Santa Lucia that it's a hotel with 2,200 rooms, an estimate cost of 300 million investment, 68 hectares. Cienfuegos, as you can see, is a central region. Puesta del Sol Hotel, we have planned a great tourist development there because of their values and their heritage. In the Street 37, we have planned a hotel with 200 rooms, 5 stars, with a cost of 50 million. I'm sure some of the businessmen that are with me today are taking note to propose to their heads to develop these tourist possibilities. Last, I'd like to show you a picture for you to see a group of finished hotels. Their quality, beauty, their commitment with technology. You cannot see it in the picture, but we can ensure they have been built with high tech, high development. These hotels are new and just finished, 4,000 rooms, which we are placing at the service of the tourists visiting us. So some of them, they were not enjoyed totally because of the pandemic. You have the Saratoga Hotel. It's an example of an old building. The history says that not before we rebuilt it, but refurbished it. But it's a hotel which we have saved, and it's a 5-star hotel with quite luxurious and with a very good, pretty facade. We have Paseo del Prado Hotel, the Gran Manzana Hotel, Kempinski. We used the existence of a building, it was refurbished and preserved, and the Biosphere Hotel, Grand Packard, is an example. The facade there was left from colonial times, and not all the facade, but one of the side facade was used, and we built a harmonic hotel. The Central Park is also an old hotel in operation. We brought it as an example of a hotel with high recovery as a joint venture. And the Grand Astor Hotel that will begin to operate in 2021. And this is while it was under construction. I would like to leave you with a promotion video of Cuba, what we are preparing for this winter and the development of our activity, to grant the floor to the other members of the panel. Thank you.
Mr. Kems, you have the floor. Thank you very much, Minister, for the invitation to participate in this second business forum. In my case, I represent Melia Hoteles International, a Spanish company founded more than 60 years ago, with a presence in Cuba as from 1990. In 1990, we created the first joint venture in the field of tourism. The first company was called Miramar. And during the first stage, we built 4 hotels, 3 of them in Varadero, Sol Palmeras, Melia Varaderos, Melia Las Americas, and later on, it included the Hotel Melia Habana in the city of the same name. Currently, we manage more than 33 hotels in the country with a number which is close to 5,000 rooms, and we also manage rooms, particularly in all touristic resorts in the country, not only in the beach resorts as Varadero, Cayo Coco, Cayo Santa Maria, but also we are present in patrimonial cities including Havana, Santiago de Cuba, and also Cienfuegos, Camagüey, which makes it possible for us to offer tourist circuits connecting the different cities of Cuba and accommodations at some of our hotels. I said before that we arrived in Cuba in 1990. I could say that this was love at first sight by our president Escarrer, who fell in love with the natural architectural beauties of the Cuban people, its idiosyncrasy, but also he fell in love with the quality of negotiations with different commercial partners with whom we have established a relationship based on respect and transparency throughout all these years. I said that one of the first joint ventures called Miramar, created in 1990, was a company which, after the first 25 years life cycle, was renewed for another 25 years. And right now, it is getting ready to update our product in all of these facilities, including important investments worth $80 million to update Melia Habana, Melia Varadero, and also Sol Palmeras. But we didn't stop there. At present, we are building also another joint venture, Dos Cuba. We are working in Trinidad, 400 rooms hotel, Trinidad, Melia Peninsula, which would be concluded by the end of next year in this territory. In addition to all these ongoing investments, it is also very important to say that we are continuously updating our tourist products. Thus, we are also updating and remodeling the emblematic Trip Havana Libre Hotel in order to engage in a rebranding and turn it into a future Havana Libre Hotel. We are doing the same at two very important buildings, one of them in Cienfuegos, the Hotel Hawa, which will also receive an investment process next year, which will become the first inside Hawa in the country. And we will also incorporate another hotel in Camagüey, in this case the Hotel Camagüey, also with a rebranding under the trademark inside. The ongoing work that we are carrying out in our country include improvements which speak very highly about Cuba as a destination. I would like to add a couple of ideas to the presentation made by the minister. These are important elements strengthening the possibility to develop businesses in Cuba. First of all, it is very important to ensure security, including the legal security, legal confidence. Our president refers to Cuba as an example of a country in which, as from day one, people have honored all the agreements signed with foreign partners. And I believe it is also very important, as part of that concept of confidence, to include the health confidence concept, since Cuba has developed 3 vaccines. As the minister said, 98% of the Cuban population is fully vaccinated and ready to receive the tourism that started to arrive in the country as from November the 15th this year. So we encourage you to invest in Cuba. In our case, we are absolutely satisfied after starting in this business more than 30 years ago. We hope to be able to continue investing and maintaining a cooperation for many more years in the future. Thank you, Mr. Camps. I will now give the floor to Mr. Cardente for him to tell about his experience and his views. Good morning to all. Thank you, Minister, for your invitation to participate in this international forum. Iberostar arrived in Cuba by the hand of our president more than 28 years ago. We built the first joint venture. The first was Iberia Travels together with Cuba Tour. Today, it has been a very important agency for our country. Iberostar operates more than 15 hotels in Cuba in the most important tourist resorts, including Havana, Varadero, Cayo Santa Maria, Cayo Guillermo, Holguín, and Trinidad. And all along these years, we have continued to grow bigger, developing joint ventures. The first joint venture that we made was signed in the year 2000, and this was very successful, which meant the construction of the hotels Iberostar Varadero, Iberostar Trinidad, which were very successful as from day one. And at present, we have already signed for the construction of two other joint ventures. We have signed contracts with Gran Caribe and Cubanacan. We have always had a wonderful cooperation and respect relationship. And during all these years, we have been betting on the quality of the Cuban tourist product. We created a joint venture. Our president bet on the creation of a hotel logistic company in Mariel, which is working very well. And we supply products to all other hotels in Cuba. Recently, Iberostar has made a very strong bet on this wonderful country, and this year we opened a new traveling agency which will promote all secrets to connect patrimonial cities and tourist resorts in Cuba and the big tour operators of the world. As we recently published in September, we opened Madrid-Havana flight with a new airline, World to Fly. During the early days of December, we will have a second flight every week flying directly to Havana. Our work and our joint ventures have been very successful. Our president will continue, and we will all continue to bet on Cuba by developing sustainable and quality tourism. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. Now I give the floor to Mr. Fernandez, an entrepreneur who has worked for us for many years. Thank you very much, Minister, for this opportunity to participate in this business forum. In the course of these 24 years in Cuba, I have been able to work with different outstanding companies. And I have started to work here from the grassroots level. I have started to work here as a manager of hotels and in many parts of the country. I worked presently at Tour Caribe. We have been operating in Cuba since 1993. Speaking about the experience of 24 years in a few minutes is very difficult, but as an entrepreneur, I will give you my opinion. Cuba has a strategic geographical position in the Caribbean. Its climate is a very important attraction for all visitors. It has more than 5,000 kilometers of coastline with more than 200 fine sand and transparent water beaches. The area from Varadero to Jardines del Rey is the second most important coral reef in Cuba. Half of the national parks have been declared as reserved of Biosphere, and several cities have been declared part of the universal heritage. To us, Cuba is not a sun and beach destination, although it ranks among the most important in the tourism sector. Added to these, there are natural and traditional values which makes it become a very, very important tourist attraction. The huge hospitality of Cuba's people, its cultural and educational level makes this an enviable tourist destination. Sometimes I have been asked during some interviews, why do we invest in Cuba? And this can be easily responded to. Investment in Cuba is very profitable for all tourist companies. This presupposes an added value not only because of the Ministry of Tourism is making a great effort for all the brands are guaranteed, as it is the case in any other destination. All contracts that we may sign with any Cuban entities are always honored, as my colleagues said here. And during these 3 decades in the island, I cannot remember of any conflict that had to be settled but through amicable conversations, trying to reconcile different views, as it is the case for any negotiation. This same feeling is shared not only by the companies represented here, but also any of tour operators working in Cuba at present. As a human being, as a person residing in a foreign country, I must be grateful for the security climate, which is ideal for family life in Cuba. Tourism is a very important sector for the Cuban economy. Therefore, the country has approved policies facilitating the development of our investments and their continuity in time. Aspects so important as technological research and innovation is a reality here, and we have been able to see the progress achieved by the new tourist products in Cuba. For those who do not know Cuba, the basic infrastructure here ensures the development of our activity in any destination. We have around 20 airports, ports, more than 95% of the country has electricity, and there is a railway network and a highway network ensuring communication. Cuba is a destination under expansion, ideal for any investment, with the biggest potential for development in the Caribbean, in my opinion. When our company opened up the first 8 hotels, we were convinced of the feasibility of this project. We have hotels in Cayo Santa Maria, Varadero, and Havana. Recently, we have been informed that we will participate in a joint venture for the construction of 320 apartments in Playa Santa Maria, a few minutes from Havana. The truth is that we are very happy and we are very happy about the development of our hotel network in Cuba. We hope to be able to continue with our businesses in all the tourist resorts in Cuba. Convinced that profitability and transparency in all contracts with Cuban entities would prevail. Minister, once again, thank you very much for being able to share with you in this forum. Well, I am the one that is grateful for having the pleasure of your company this morning. I have been informed that while we were speaking here about our projects, trying to encourage you to approach Cuba for future investments, some questions had arrived, and at the end of this panel, we would respond to them. And the panel is ready. Thank you very much. Yes, that is indeed the case. Thank you for your views. We have 3 questions. I will ask them one by one. The first is, in the tourism sector, a foreign investor can have the can be the owner of the shares? Well, not only in tourism. In general terms, as Minister Malmerga explained, we admit the majority of foreign shareholders in our businesses. We are open to any proposal in this regard. In our policy, we have identified these aspects. We do not see these foreign participation as a majority in tourist resorts such as Havana and Varadero, but there are areas where foreign participation risks is higher, and our tourism is very dynamic, providing full guarantees to return investments. We are open to any proposal. There's no problem. The following question is, which are the advantages of the new business models announced in the new foreign policy in the area of tourism? I suggest to give the floor to my Director for Development and Businesses, who came here very well prepared to answer to any questions. Jose Daniel, you have the floor. Thank you, Minister. In the case of the new business models that we are offering to foreign investors, I think that a fundamental aspect is the opening to any kind of modality whereby we can diversify the Cuban tourist product. We are ready to analyze projects that could be complemented with all of these hotel operations in Cuba and all the businesses that we have included in our portfolio of opportunities. Another important aspect is that we can do business, not necessarily big businesses. For example, the franchise has been very much demanded by hotel brands, and the leasing of tourist facilities. This is another modality that is being offered to the world, and no doubt there is a lot of interest in terms of restaurants and other facilities where foreign partners can also offer their products to complement our touristic offer, and this would be welcomed by all. And the third and last question is, in the hotel management contracts, how loans work for those projects requiring financing, how investors will recover these investments. In the hotel management contracts, and not only in the hotel sector, it is possible for foreign companies to define the products and the brands they intend to introduce, and as part of these contract, they could anticipate a loan in order to ensure the investments required in every facility. We have already signed several contracts with two of the networks present here, and we believe that we are in the final stage to define how will these processes be implemented. But this loan will emerge from the profits of the businesses. These grants a lot of guarantees and security in all the flows that are accepted. So far, this has been a successful process, and we believe that some of the remodelings will start in the next few days. This is a new modality we can operate with in our country. Thank you very much, Minister. If you wish to add any information of interest, I would like to close my participation by inviting all those investors who would like to visit our country, invest in our country. We would like to tell them that in our website you will find all the details of the projects that we have included in our portfolio open for investments. We have published all the contact persons. If you would like to get further positions, and finally, I invite you to come to my country to build a tourism of peace, health, and security to be enjoyed by children, families, young people, adults, and senior citizens, for a tourism for wholesome recreation, culture, and leisure. Thank you very much. Thank you, Minister. Thank you. Thank to all panel members, and we will have a break now, but around 1:45 in the afternoon we will be back, because at 2 o'clock we will receive the first Deputy Minister of Cuba Pharma. We will be speaking about biopharmaceuticals in Cuba.